Hey, friend. It is so good to see you. Happy Wednesday. I'm so happy you could make time in your schedule to join us today because we have a power packed mini workshop for you and me and all of us to do together. If this is your first time joining us, pull up a chair. Welcome. Come on in. We're a pretty fun bunch here. We might be a little different than other workshops or groups that you've joined because we are very interactive, which happens over here in the chat. A lot of good tips and tricks and tactics coming in over there as well as up here on the screen. So I'm really excited to be with you today, and I'm pumped that we're going to jump into improving your LinkedIn profile. A big hi to Stephanie and Claudio and Giacomo and Andrew and Jennifer and Mohammed and Leslie coming in from Chicago. Man, we got a couple Chicago people in today. I'm excited to see all of you. Today's session, I think, is really wonderful timing because if you are here in the US or anywhere over the world, we have Hanukkah coming up, we have Christmas coming up, we have New Year's coming up, a lot of holidays, a lot of breaks, a lot of downtimes, a lot of trains, planes, and automobiles getting you to where you need to go to spend the holiday season, which means you might have some extra time on your hands that hopefully you can use to improve your LinkedIn profile. So if at the end of the year you are searching for that new job or maybe going up for that big promotion, this will help you out with that. And we can get you looking bright and shiny and new on LinkedIn and reflecting all of the great work that you are doing. So without further ado, let's dive in. And as always, if you have questions or comments, or I go too fast and you're like, Kim, go back. What do you mean by that? Ask it in the chat. No worries. And if you're listening to this later, you could always message me and I'm more than happy to help. I love a good agenda and maybe you do too. So let's dive into what we're going to be working on today. First, we're going to cover why LinkedIn matters, why it's an important platform that you should be on. We're going to dive into some insider secrets that will help you use, leverage, and develop your voice on the platform. We're going to talk about one of the biggest opportunities that's missed that constantly I'm like, no, why didn't they do that? So I'm excited for you to jump in there with me. We're going to talk about the About section, which quite frankly, I think is one of the most underutilized sections on LinkedIn, and it's one of the largest sections that you can control. So we are definitely going to be diving into that as well. So without further ado, just so I can get a read of the room, whether it's Allison or Sahar, I'd love to hear when the last time you updated your LinkedIn profile was. There's no right or wrong answer here. So if for you, you're thinking to yourself, oh my goodness, Kim, it has been, gosh, I can't even remember, probably over a year, then I'd love to hear that. If you're like, Kim, you know what? Funny you should mention that. I just updated my profile picture last week. Well, I'd love to hear that too, because it seems like you have been using the platform pretty steadily. So Jennifer said that she updated it yesterday. John said last night. Jim said probably 2 months ago, not sure. Liz and Watt about a week ago, a month ago. Tammy, I'm updating it now and saw this and need advice. Well, Tammy, I'm so glad you're joining because this is perfect timing. Arson can't remember. Vern said a few weeks ago. So as you can see, Christopher, I think, wins when he said when Reagan was president. So you might win for the longest time without an update. As you can see, we have a wide range of different updates that are going on here, but that means two things. Number one, you've come to the right place. We're going to dive into some good stuff here. And number two, for all of those people who have updated it a little more recently, like Mohammed, who just did some Saul updates a couple days ago, that means you can help some of the others, like Christopher, who hasn't updated it in quite some time. So again, if you've updated it recently, you also might have some tips and tricks and tactics to share, and we want to hear those too. Don't keep them all to yourself. We like to share the goodness around here. We don't like to keep all the good stuff inside. So without further ado, one of the main things I always love to kick this off and talk about is this, because it's one of the facts that not a lot of people know about LinkedIn. And that is that Google and LinkedIn are best friends. That's how I describe them. Google and LinkedIn are best friends for life. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is LinkedIn is one of the few social media websites that consistently gets crawled by Google. Again, what does that mean? That means anything that you type into the LinkedIn profile or into any articles will get picked up by Google. Yes, because Google crawls the LinkedIn website. So, for example, I thought you might want to see a physical example of this. If I type in www.google.com and I Google Kim Kaup, my name, and the word mentor, a million things could potentially pop up. But what pops up, number one, the first thing on the list, is an article that I wrote on LinkedIn called The 4 Mentors You Need Right Now. So notice that I didn't Google Kim Kaup LinkedIn, and I didn't Google Kim Kaup article mentorship LinkedIn. All I typed into Google was Kim Kaup and mentor. And because LinkedIn and Google are best friends forever, Google crawls all of LinkedIn, sees that Kim Kaup and the word mentor were mentioned in a blog post, and boop, up it goes to the number one search result. And anybody who knows, like Naomi, about SEO knows that having the number one search result on Google is mucho bene. We like that very much. So very, very good. So a lot of people don't know that, Michael. Don't worry. So I always tell people, if you are updating your profile, if you're going to write any articles on LinkedIn, it is a great thing to keep in mind to know that Google is going to be searching this as well. Let's dive into some of my favorite insider secrets about the platform. So building off why we should be digging in, why LinkedIn is so important beyond the fact that it gets crawled by Google, although honestly, that's a pretty big one. So that should be number one. I want to get into how we can optimize the platform for ourselves. And I'm going to be talking about some secrets that you might not be able to Google. And I will preface it by saying, this is what I've seen. Now, I'm a LinkedIn learning instructor. I am on the platform a lot. I have a lot of contacts at LinkedIn. Nobody knows how the algorithm works. So I also want to put that up front. Anybody who tells you, well, I know how to use the LinkedIn algorithm, you just have to do X, Y, Z. Honestly, the people that work at LinkedIn don't even know how the algorithm works. So nobody knows how it works. If somebody tells you they know how it works, red flag, we don't believe them. However, we can use this to be true in any sense, which is any tech platform. Really hear me on this. Any tech platform that introduces new features, this is not rocket scientists, probably wants you to use those new features. You know, when Instagram came out with Reels, what did they want to do? They wanted people to make Instagram Reels. So this is not rocket science. When a tech platform introduces something new, it means they want everybody to start doing that new thing, which also means, if anybody remembers from their history lessons, the Oregon Trail or the Great Gold Rush in California here in the United States, the first man there kind of gets all the gold. The first person to get to that new thing sort of wins the day. So first and foremost, if you haven't done this already, please, please, please turn on creator mode. Creator mode is a new setting, maybe not super new. It's probably been out now for about a year and a half. And it's still new enough that the majority of people don't have it turned on, but LinkedIn wants people to turn it on. Again, because we know when tech platforms introduce new features, it's because they want people to use those new features. So if you have never heard of creator mode, you're like, what is Kim talking about? Long story short, it's extra features, extra bells and whistles that get added to your profile for free. And I don't know if you're like me, but I love things that are for free. Free 99 is my favorite price to pay. So you get extra bells and whistles for no cost. And I know that I love that. So if you don't have that turned on, please turn it on. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's okay. I made a 12-minute guidebook, step by step, of exactly how to turn it on for you. So you can go to turnoncreatormode.com. It will be my face and it will show you exactly how to do it. And as Lisa is saying, creator mode is totally worth it because, as Naomi says, the social media apps, they want you to socialize, they want you to use the platform, they want you to turn on new features. So again, turn on creator mode. It is going to help you exponentially. There's a step-by-step guide if you don't know how to do that. Second, there are some new features that I want to point out that I see that a lot of people don't have turned on, and they really, really should. So let's go through some of those. The first one being the pronunciation feature. I have a very difficult last name, Kaup. People spell it crazy. They pronounce it crazy. I have friends that I have known for 5-6 years, came to my wedding, and they pronounced my last name wrong. So I can attest, it is a very hard to pronounce last name. And I know that. So imagine my joy and elation when LinkedIn says, don't worry, if you have a hard first name or last name, we will solve that by adding this pronunciation feature where you can record on your phone exactly how to pronounce your name. So I would say Kim Kaup. And then if somebody is having a meeting with me or meeting me for the first time, they can go on the LinkedIn profile and boop, hit this little button that looks like a speaker that's at the very end of my name. So the E in Kaup, you'll see it right next to there. They can click that and hear me pronounce my name for them. So there's no excuse for saying my name wrong. I cannot tell you what joy I feel when I'm about to go on a Zoom call and I'm about to log on and I see, ooh, no, I'm about to have a Zoom call with somebody whose first or last name looking like alphabet soup. I don't know how to pronounce it, not even close. I can't sound it out. What is the phonetics? Who knows? Is it Deidre? Is it Deirdre? How are we saying it? I'm probably going to say it wrong. Tomato, tomato. So when I then go to their LinkedIn and see that they have this turned on, it is like music to my ears. Music to my ears that I know how to pronounce somebody's name correctly. Secondly, most people don't realize if you look up by this number 2, where it says linkedin.com/Kim Kaup, you can customize your own URL. So it is very easy for you to put on a resume for an application, for a website, instead of having the general one that LinkedIn gives you, which might be linkedin.com/Jason Schwartz 2546382 ! Money sign. Nobody wants to see that. So again, customized URL, huge, absolutely amazing feature. I totally agree with you, Lisa. I was devastated when they took away the little intro video feature. Again, alas, as we talked about before, a lot of times these social platforms are constantly introducing new features. And listen, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I was sad that that one didn't work. I personally loved it. I'm glad that you loved it too, but looks like not a lot of people were like us. Not a lot of people had the love. So hopefully they'll be bringing out even more features soon that we will grow to love in the meantime. Next up, most people don't realize that you have control over this featured section. You can reorder what you feature. You can constantly update what you feature. You can feature, wait for it, you can feature past posts. Most people don't realize this. Most people think the only thing that you can feature are PDFs or websites or blogs. Not true. You can now feature past posts. So let's say you did a post announcing your new job, or that you moved, or that you had a baby, or it's just a really great post about the top 5 books that you read for the year. You can now pin that post in the featured section. So if that was a very popular post, everybody wanted to hear about where you moved, or everybody wanted to hear about the new job, or everyone wanted to hear about the 5 books you read. You can now pin that post in your featured section. You used to not be able to do that. Now you can. So again, putting that out there, definitely something for you to look at, see what's up there, and see what you might want to switch around or change in that featured section, right where that number 3 is. Most people don't realize that now LinkedIn is letting you do custom links to any website of your choosing on your profile page. So as you can see where this green number 4 is on the screen, where it says click here and let's go grab coffee, that is a link that I put into this coffee talk, which is pretty great. So you can put any website in there, the website of your business, you can put your personal website. And this is a sneaky hack that I saw recently. So anybody who works in sales or business development, I think this is worth you kind of putting on your listening ears. If you're multitasking, come back to me, because this is important if you do sales or new business development or you own your own business. Recently, I have seen an uptick in people who use that website feature. So again, right there where the number 4 is, where it says click here and grab coffee, I have seen people using that with their Calendly link. So people will say, book here for a free 15-minute consultation, or book here for a free 30-minute intro call. Huge sales opportunity, because as we all know, you have to hit people the minute they're interested. Because if you don't give them somewhere to click to book that intro call, book that 15-minute meeting, a lot of times people go, oh, well, I'll reach out to Andrew later. And you know what? The dog pukes, the kids are crying, they got home late from work, they never call. So really important, if you work in sales, if you own your own business, if there's anything that you do that involves business development, it is crucial that you add your own website link right here where it says number 4, and potentially have that be a Calendly link so that people can immediately book time with you or your sales team or your customer service team. Really, really important. It is one of the few custom links we have left, because as Michael pointed out here, we used to be able to put custom links on photos and content. Sadly, again, for us, they have taken that feature away. My guess, Michael, I have nothing to back this up. Remember, I don't work for LinkedIn. My guess is that LinkedIn realized that too many people were going off platform, because as Naomi said earlier, all of these social media platforms, whether you're Facebook, whether you're Instagram, whether you're a LinkedIn, we are in the attention economy. The attention economy wants all of your eyeballs, all of your energy on their platform. And when you allow outside links to Calendly, to personal websites, to other places, what is that doing? It's sending people straight off LinkedIn. And I have a feeling that LinkedIn saw that and then decided, never mind. We actually don't want people leaving the platform. We want everybody staying right here. So unfortunately, we only get to customize one link and one link only. And we don't get any more of that. And they don't let us do it on pictures or videos anymore. Wish they would. I think they realized that too many people are leaving the platform. So kind of Kind of poopy for us. I'm not going to lie, kind of poopy for us. Here is something I don't want you to miss. If you kind of take away nothing from this entire mini workshop, this is one of the things that I want you to really, really, really take away. Too often, I see people not utilizing their banner. Your banner on your LinkedIn is the largest visual real estate that you have on the platform that you can control. So, for example, for me, I want more people to join me here on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. every single week. So I use my banner to get people to join us here on Coffee with Kim. But your banner could be anything. And again, another important fact, banners can be changed. There's no rule around banners. What does that mean? Let's say your company is running a special Christmas or holiday promotion. We got Black Friday coming up here in the United States, one of the biggest shopping days of the year. And we have Cyber Monday. Let's say your company is doing sales. You can make your banner specific for this 2-week period and then take it off. Or, for example, let's say there's something else to celebrate. Your banner doesn't have to be something static that just, it is what it is and I can't change it. That's not true. You can change your banner as many times as you would like. And I think sometimes people think to themselves, well, it's kind of set it and forget it. No, as things are updating, as you have new things going on, absolutely try your best to keep updating this banner and keeping things fresh when people come to your profile. I'm so glad. I'm probably going to mispronounce your name, but Osawamin pointed this out, that even though we only get one link to put in our LinkedIn profile, you could always use a link tree or something like that to actually have that one link turn into lots of links. So thank you so much for adding that tip in, because that is a great one, especially if there's some of us that have multiple links that we want people to see. That is great. In addition to updating your banner profile, it is never the wrong time to update your profile picture. I see a lot of profile pictures that, putting it nicely, they were taken a couple years ago. You know who you are. Things have changed. That beard, no longer there. That long hair, it is now short. That blonde hair is now brown. So your profile picture should change once, listen, in a perfect world, once a year, once every 2 years. Once every 2 years, most people, not everybody, something changes. The facial hair is changing. Ladies, the hair is changing. In my case, maybe you get old, you start to need glasses. Things are changing. Things are moving around. So you just want to make sure that your profile picture is staying as up to date as possible. Oh, and I'm so glad that Liz added, when we were talking about banners, Small Business Saturday is this coming Saturday. So that would be a great event to put on your banner if you are a small business and you have any shop small Saturday promotions or things that are going on, or maybe you have a friend that has a small business that you want to help promote what it is they're doing. So absolutely. Thank you, Liz, for pointing that out, because that's a great one to change your banner to represent. Last but not least, your header is not static. You can change this as many times as you want to, knowing that this will come up in Google SEO, LinkedIn SEO. What are people searching for? Are they searching for a keynote speaker? Are they searching for a CTO? Are they searching for a coach? Are they searching for a sales rep? What are people looking for, and what can you type in here to make sure that they are finding you? I'm going to give you a little hack here that I didn't make a slide for, because I thought to myself, I want to have plausible deniability if anybody says that you did this, which is, for most people, it's an automatic setting on your profile that if you update any of those 3 things that we talked about, if you update your banner, if you update your profile picture, or if you update your headline, it will shoot out one of those notifications. I don't have a live, LinkedIn won't let me do like live sharing. I wonder if I can just hold my phone up, but you know your little notifications tab, and it's the same thing on desktop. And when you press the notifications tab, it's all the notifications of, someone got a job, or it's someone's birthday, or you RSVP to an event, or whatever it is. If you change your profile picture, change your banner, or change your heading, your contacts will get a little reminder. So using the example of Small Business Saturday that Liz was nice enough to share with us, if you know a small business that you're like, I want everyone to know that my small business is doing something special for Small Business Saturday, but I know if I just do a post on it, maybe not everybody in my network sees it. Maybe it's a good time, in addition to a post, to do a little profile picture update or to do a little banner update, because LinkedIn will send out one of those notifications that, Lisa has a new banner or Andrew has a new profile picture. And then what do? Because we're creatures of habit. We see that there's a notification, we click it, it takes us to whatever the notification is. And then we think to ourselves, oh, Liz has something going on for Small Business Saturday. How interesting. So again, a little hack, a little tip. I don't want to say, hack the algorithm, hack the system, but between you and me, a little hack never hurt anybody. I add that, use it in good practice. Don't go crazy. Don't go updating your profile every 2 weeks, but just a little something that you can know those 3 areas will send notifications to your entire network. And I'm glad Susan, it sounds like, has tried this little hack before, because she said every time you update it, it actually increases the visibility of your profile. So again, it's not just me. Susanna is seeing it too. It's true for everybody. As Naomi says, your contacts will get notified and it piques their interest. Exactly correct. So if you have something going on that you want people to see and use, that is a great place. Calvin is asking, where is the best place to list technical certifications and badges? I am so glad you asked that, because honestly, the best place to use that is the About section. And we are going to dive into that. Why? Because the About section, again, is searchable. And if it's searchable, it means that people who might be looking for a, let's say, sales technician that has those certifications will be able to find you. I want to talk about one more feature that not a lot of people know about. You can now add a providing services section to your website. So again, where this star is and this blue box, it says providing services. So if you provide any services, maybe you're a copywriter, maybe you're a graphic designer, maybe you work in sales, maybe you, I don't know, do Photoshop. In my case, I do a lot of public speaking. I do consulting work. I do trainings. You can put any services that you offer in this open to section. And it is yet another way that you can add keywords into LinkedIn. It is also, again, one of those new features that LinkedIn built. So as we talked about before, when the platform adds new features, it behooves us to use them, because we hope that the algorithm sees us using these new features and maybe rewards us ever so slightly, as Susan said, increasing some visibility on our profile and on what it is that we are doing. I know that we have been together already for 30 minutes and you have a lot going on and you are slammed for time. So just know that while we are going to wrap up soon, there are other tips and tricks and tactics that I could not fit in today. I know I try to jam it all as much as I can, but there's a lot going on LinkedIn and I can't fit it all in our short mini workshop. So if you have your phone handy, we're also going to drop a link in the chat. I have additional tips and tricks and tactics for you to use to help improve your LinkedIn profile that you can watch over the weekend, while you're on the plane going to Thanksgiving, while you're on the train trying to get to grandma's house. You can also revisit these tips and tricks and tactics. So again, we will drop the link in the chat. You could also scan this QR code, but I have additional tips that I try to fit in all the tips, but you just can't fit them all in. So I'm glad we talked about the about section, because Mohammed is saying, well, how long should it be? And I always say that the about section is not necessarily about length. It's about packing a punch. We really want to pack a punch with our about section as much as possible. So number one, we want to include keywords. We want to include words about what we do. So for example, I do a lot of marketing with entertainers. I want to make sure that in my about section, I'm including the words entertainer. I'm including the word marketing. I'm including the word brand. I'm including the word strategy. I'm including the word website. I'm including the word merch. So whatever it is for your job, whether it is sales or tech or design or copywriting or whatever it might be, you want to make sure that your about page has those words in them. And don't worry about getting too technical. We don't want to overwhelm anybody, but we want to make sure that your about section has that. I think my about section even has this live show in it, which we do every single week on Wednesdays. There are some Wednesdays that we miss because either I'm traveling to an event or for one of my clients, or it's the holidays. So sometimes we miss it because of that. But yes, as Naomi asked, we're here every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So we are a fun bunch. And as Giacomo can attest, we have a lot of fun here every week. We are always learning something great and new. So for instance, on my about section, I know pretty sure I talk about that. So we definitely want to make sure there's keywords. We also want to make sure that there is contact info. Why do I say this? I say this because, as we know, LinkedIn does have a messaging system, but not everyone is good at using it. Not everyone checks it regularly. So I'll use myself as an example. I have contacted people through LinkedIn and I never hear back. And I think, well, that's rude. They never got back to me. And in this example I'm thinking of, because it happened to me just a few weeks ago, I ended up running into that person at an event in real life here in Austin. And I said, I don't mean to call you out, but I actually wrote you a message, a couple of weeks ago on LinkedIn, and I never heard back from you. And this person said, oh my gosh, my LinkedIn inbox, it's out of control. I never check it. I'm so sorry. Here, please email me, Robert at his company's website. So I say that because in your about section, please put an email that you actually check, that if somebody were to email you, you would get it and respond. Do not just trust the LinkedIn messaging platform. Don't trust it, because not everybody is using it or savvy with it, or it's notifying them. So even in your own about section, at the very bottom, put in a website or contact info so people can access you at any time, because they're not really great sometimes about checking those LinkedIn messages. I wish they were, but they're not. Last but not least, this goes without saying, you should already know this, but if you can, try to make your about section interesting. I always give this example, and this is true for every single one of us and all of our about sections. You can see on this screenshot that, especially you can see where the red arrow is for anyone that's listening to the podcast version of this afterwards. On LinkedIn, you basically have 3 lines before there is a button called See More that you can then click and see the rest of somebody's about page. Now, I like to call this little area the movie trailer. Why do I call it the movie trailer? Because as we all know that we've seen movies and movie trailers before, if somebody has a boring movie trailer, we always turn to the person next to us in the theater or at home and whisper, gosh, that looks so bad. Or I don't want to see that at all. That does not look good. So you don't want to go see the full length movie because it was a bad movie trailer. So these about sections are very similar. If your first 2 to 3 sentences are boring, no one is coming to see the full movie. No one is clicking that see more button. So a lot of times I see people, to Mohammed's point of putting in amazing certifications they have, amazing training that they have, but no one's seeing the movie, so to speak, because the trailer is not very exciting. So I always say your movie could be amazing, could be an Oscar-winning career performance, but no one will see it if the first 2 to 3 sentences are not compelling. So again, really thinking about how are people using LinkedIn? It's not a resume. It is not just an online resume. This is things that people are clicking on, engaging with. It is a social platform. So make it interesting like you would anything social. Last thing I'll say about the about section is, as much as possible, try to make it look clean, crisp, clear, really taking use of hard returns and spacing and white lines. As you can see, these two about sections, the one at the top uses bullet points. It's very spaced out. It's much easier for me to skim and read, as opposed to the about section below, which, while is still spaced out, looks more like paragraph form. And I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm just saying, unfortunately, where we are in the history of the world, people don't like reading. I hope none of my clients are on here, because I will just say my clients hate reading. You will never meet somebody more that hates reading more than my clients, because I am telling you, I write entire like 2-3 paragraph emails with answers to all their questions, bullet points. And do you know what happens about few hours after I send an email like that? I get a ring-a-ding-ling on my phone. And you know what they're asking me? They're asking me a question that was in the email that I already answered. They're asking me about a due date. And it takes every ounce of my inner being not to say, oh, it's in the email I sent you. That if you read it, you wouldn't be calling me asking the question. So I speak from experience. It is one of my soapboxes that people hate reading. I wish they didn't. I wish more people read, but they don't. So all that to say, when you are working on your about section, make it very easy, skimmable. Bullet points are great. Lots of spacing is great, because if you make it look like big, bunchy paragraphs, I can almost guarantee you no one is reading it. I wish that wasn't the case. Maybe we can all blame TikTok and Instagram, but people aren't reading. Last but not least, a must do before you leave here today is you must promise me you'll do it right now. In fact, let's do it together right now. I want you to take a pen and paper. If you use a physical calendar, I want you to get your mouse going on your Google Calendar or on your Outlook calendar, if that's what you use. And I want you to set time in your calendar to do some of these tips and tricks that we talked about today, whether that's to update your profile picture, whether that's to dive into your about section. Because again, what I've realized is we're getting into the holidays, we're getting into the end of the year. We have a lot of shoulds. We got a big case of the shoulds. I should update my LinkedIn profile. I really should take a new LinkedIn picture. I really should update my banner. We get a really bad case of the shoulds, and we don't actually do the work. And the only way we're going to get better is if we actually do the work. So please promise me you will set up maybe 30 minutes. I'd love it if you do an hour, but 30 minutes will work. 30 minutes. Maybe it's on Friday. Maybe you have a really slow Friday if you're in the United States, the day after Thanksgiving. Maybe it's next week before December 1st hits you, that on a Tuesday, you're a little slow. Whatever it is, set up 30 minutes to an hour with yourself to work on this, because if you don't, it won't get done. You have a lot going on. You are a very busy person. I don't even have to see your calendar. I already know that it looks like Skittles exploded with all of the various meetings and commitments and school dinners and family outings that you have to do. So please, please, please set up time in your calendar to do this work. Additionally, I already plugged this earlier, but there is more that I could not fit into this mini workshop that I'm sure you want to do. Lisa is going to do it on Saturday, and James already has it in his calendar, but there is even more that I could not fit in here. So if you are listening to this, we will put the link in Apple Podcast. If you are with us live, we will drop the link in the chat. If you are watching this afterwards, you can do any of these methods to get these additional tips and tricks now that you have set aside time to do them. I also have a lot of other cheat sheets on my website, kimkalb.com, if you want to check that out. And then last but not least, the only way that I can keep you updated about sessions like this and things that we are doing is if you press the little bell on my LinkedIn profile or the follow button, because we always get messages every week of people being very mad that they didn't know we had so-and-so coming on and they missed it. And then I always write back and say, do you have the bell pushed? And then they say no. And then I say, well, what do you want me to do? That's where we're at. So please let's you and I not have that exchange. Let's just cut straight to the chase and you just type the bell and then we can pretend we have that whole email exchange, but we didn't. Because next week, I think you are absolutely going to want to be with us because we have Veronica from the Wall Street Journal on with us talking about a topic I love, money, and a more important topic I love, saving money, and how we can save money, especially at the end of the year when we want to kind of slim and trim our expenses as we round out the year. Veronica is going to pack a punch with new and unexpected ways that we can save our money, leverage our money, all the good stuff that we want to learn about. So next Wednesday, the 29th, 1 p.m. Eastern, I encourage you to be here. I'd love to see you. You can go to getcoffeewithkim.com and set up a reminder in your calendar so that you do not miss our money and saving money chat with Veronica next week, because it's going to be a lot of fun. I really appreciate you joining today. As I said before, I know how busy you are. I know how much you have going on. I do not take your time for granted. I absolutely adore that you spend it with me. I hope if you're new that you enjoyed this enough to come back to us on another Wednesday. If you've come here before, welcome back. Thank you for coming back. And I will also say, if you have any ideas, we are in the midst of brainstorming our 2024 content ideas. And boy, do we have some exciting stuff coming up in January. We're going to be talking about AI. We're going to be talking about how to emotionally invest in your mental mindness and get ready for the year. We get a lot of good stuff coming up. But if there's anything in specific that you want to discuss, that you want to talk about, whether that is job hunting, whether that is resumes, whether that is money, I don't know what it is, write me a message. We're an open book over here. Shelby and I would love to hear from you. So thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it. It was wonderful to spend time together. And I hope if you're in the United States and you're celebrating Thanksgiving, that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday tomorrow. I know I am so eternally grateful for you. If you're not in the United States, that's okay. I'm still thankful for you. And you don't even have to be thankful back because it's not a holiday for you. So it will be a one-way thanks. I'll be thankful for you, and you don't even have to be thankful for me. So just know that I'm sending out all of my love and gratitude to you. So thanks so much. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And I will see you next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, same time, same place.